Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. My name's Mr. Quint, and tonight we're doing the watch party. I'm chucking myself in the chat now. We're going to watch the Blizzcon together. What's on, Gup? Better switch screen. I don't know how long this is going to take. It's already hit 10 here. Switch over a bit. Got some music going on here anyway. Quite loud music. The chat is going absolutely bonkers. Everyone is very, very excited. I can barely read the chat. Chuck myself in the chat. I'm already in the chat. I'll text Colin, just in case. Pretty excited about this, actually. I think there's going to be some good stuff announced tonight. I think I know what they're going to say.
Nightbot said,
Can't find him.
Don't forget to follow or sub and check out https twitter.com requinsk https discord ggtzeque.
So predictions. I'm kind of like I've been watching YouTube and stuff, so I'm kind of getting some stuff off of there as well. So I'm not that. I think there's going to be definitely some Overwatch 2 stuff. Diablo as well, obviously. It's going to be pretty good. When it comes to World of Warcraft, what are they gonna announce? Oh, the Burning Crusade. Oh, Colin's still at work. I didn't realise. I thought he was going to be done by now. So today. What have you been up to, Gup, since you've been home? I did an extra, like, 10 or 11 levels on my Alliance character this evening. It only took about 2 hours. Probably not even that. I got my Chamois to level 60. Oh, I did a level and a half on my Shadow Priest. That was level 50. And then I decided I was going to switch to my Alliance, and it's so different over there. And I don't know any of the Alliance areas. And I was actually having tons of fun. I was like, this is pretty cool. It's like all like pirates and sharks and stuff.
Wisp Cosmic
Quite
Guppy
liked it. Just come home.
Came home. Wisp Cosmic Guppy
Passed out fast.
said, passed out.
That's a hard day at work, man.
Guppy
Hard day.
said, for an hour.
Oh, do you know, I had a little lie down with my son for a bit. For about half an hour. Probably not even that. He constantly asks for stuff,
Wisp
so I keep
Cosmic
having to get
Guppy
up.
said, made dinner, been on Valheim most of the evening.
Man, Valheim. It's all about the Valheim. I'm gonna have to check it out. Somebody take the jump off from it. Knew I should have brought that game. Everyone's been raving about it. I'll have a look at a second, see if it's still cheap at the minute. Thing is, I'll get it and probably won't play it for ages, and then it'll be out of fashion. Because I'm playing so much Warcraft at the moment, and League of Legends, and Valorant, and PUBG. The list goes on. They're always fashionably late, aren't they? I like people to be punctual. You know, if I was a boss of a company, I'd be an absolute son of a bitch, I think, when it comes to timekeeping.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said, noticed you were playing LOL again.
Well, where is it? Why is it not
Wisp
on here?
Cosmic Guppy said,
Oh, shit. Okay.
it's live.
Okay.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said, on their webist.
Do I just click on it? Yes, I
Wisp
do. I just
Cosmic
click on
Guppy
it. Sorry.
said,
I didn't realise you just clicked.
https Blizzcon
This is it, isn't it? Here we go.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said,
I didn't realise you just clicked
there
on
you
it.
go.
Cheers, Cup. Can't believe I was late. Sorry.
Are coming home. Familiar, comfortable.
I assumed it would
With a
be.
connection and a sense of belonging. And while many of us spent most of 2020 in our actual real-life homes, games became even more of a place to get away, to be free from outside concerns, even if just for a little while. So, this is pretty weird.
I
Usually,
want that poster
when
in
we
the
start
background on my
BlizzCon,
wall.
The opening
Of course it is.
call is to my favorite Warcraft faction, the Alliance. Or my favorite faction, the Horde. I get confused. Usually, I'd be speaking to 40,000 of you in person at the Anaheim Convention Center and millions of you around the world. And usually, that would be a perfect way to celebrate. But nothing about the last year has been usual. The pandemic has been hard on everyone, and for many different reasons. But if there's one thing that the last year
Bet one of
has
those
taught us,
BlizzCons is a lot of fun.
that being apart physically doesn't stop us from moving forward. It doesn't stop us from connecting with our player friends around the world, diving in as warriors and heroes, and checking on each other as humans. It doesn't stop us.
Jesus,
from
this is
sharing
quite
the
emotional.
latest epic gaming story, or celebrating those moments.
We're shedding a tear in a minute, Cup.
Games
Get 'em
continue
there.
to unite us. Now, to be honest, I wasn't sure how well Blizzard could work from home. There are thousands of people, all needing to work together in creating our universes, games, and experiences. Never has it felt more true that it takes a Blizzard to make a Blizzard game. And in 2020, it became clear that the magic of creating at Blizzard isn't just tied to a physical location. It's tied to the people who work here, and I continue to be so proud of each and every one of them. Thank you, Blizzard. We create these
Wisp
games
Cosmic Guppy
and pour all
said,
of our energy
Yeah.
and heart
moving
into them.
stuff as
But it
usual.
is you, the Blizzard community, that brings them to life. And that's why BlizzCon Line is a celebration.
So we wouldn't
of
get
you.
stuff like this in the
The
UK.
Guild
Like, the events look awesome, don't they? Imagine
DPS,
turning up to an event like that, people dressed like that.
Innkeepers,
Freaking
Zerg, Terran, Protoss,
crazy.
Blackwatch,
Kids would love it.
Shimada,
Wisp
the
Cosmic
heroes
Guppy
of Sanctuary,
said,
and of the
Comic-Con in London.
That's not even. That's
These
not
next
as big
few
as
days
that,
are
though,
for
is it?
you,
Really?
our
I mean,
Blizzard
it is, but
For World of Warcraft, we'll be showing you what's next for both Shadowlands
Wisp
and
Cosmic
Classic.
Guppy said,
I'm sure
I
you're
know. I know,
well,
Gup.
USA is
I know.
bigger.
It's stupid to.
Wisp Cosmic
I
Guppy
felt stupid saying it.
is getting
said,
back to its roots in a
XD.
major way. We can't wait to show you how. We also have news for our Diablo community. Some of you were
You
able
played
to
Diablo
dip your
at
toes
all?
into the
Wisp
depths of
Cosmic
hell
Guppy
in the Diablo Immortal
said,
Technical Alpha.
don't
I
worry, that's
personally
what I'm
really
here for.
enjoyed seeing players
I quite like
embrace
Diablo.
the multiplayer aspect of meeting in town. We can't wait for more of you to get your hands on it.
Oh, I don't know
So,
if you played Diablo 3,
Over the
but
beginning of the year, and
I
already
burnt through
there
that
is
game so
much
quickly, I
to
loved
look
it.
forward to, even though we can't yet be together in person. The Overwatch League will be kicking things off in spring, and we'll be watching closely to see if the San Francisco Shock can continue their championship run. World of Warcraft esports is back with the Arena World Championship and
this is what I'm
Mythic
getting
Dungeon
into, the
International already in full
arena
swing in check.
World Championship.
StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3 esports are going strong. With
Frederickson.
our friends at GSL
Welcome to my channel.
and
Frederickson,
qualifiers
welcome.
Are already underway for the first online stop of the 2021 Hearthstone Masters Tour, with the first event taking place next month. But before we get too far ahead, let's take a look one last time to when times were a little simpler.
Wisp Cosmic
In the
Guppy
early 1990s,
said,
the internet was a baby.
used to PvP Alert
CD
in Roth.
sales had finally eclipsed
Wisp Cosmic
Me
Guppy
and
cassette tape
in
is
Mist,
a
yeah.
rectangle piece of
and
plastic,
Mists.
and there's a tape inside,
always have
and
done
music could get
quite a bit of it.
recorded
Me
on.
and Colin,
Sometimes you needed a pencil to wind it, make it tight.
guys chatting to earlier.
We were all playing video
1 to
games,
60.
Super Nintendo,
Well, when we were level
Sega
60,
Genesis,
we were mad on PvP because I used to work next to him as well. We used to talk about it all the time.
So many simple things.
We actually enjoyed Ultrek Valley and stuff like that. I enjoyed all of it.
The stage is set. The green
Wisp
flag
Cosmic
flies.
Guppy
Let the
said,
party
Yeah.
begin.
old AV was fecking awesome.
Holy Toledo! What a collection!
Rock and Roll Racing, I love that. Played tons of Rock and Roll Racing.
Now we're talking. What a play! Crank up the volume!
This is the music from Rock and Roll Racing. Feel it, it's awesome. Do you know what? I didn't even know that was a Blizzard game.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy
Blizzard Arcade
said,
Collection.
Yeah, it is.
featuring
sounds
Lost
like
Vikings,
Higway Star by
Rock
Deep
and Roll
Purple.
Racing,
It is.
and Blackthorn.
But
These
in like
are ports
8-bit
of the game,
or something, or
just as
16-bit.
you remember, allowing you to relive the original experience of all three titles in 13 different languages, with a couple
What,
of
for
quality
free?
life upgrades. As an example, we include very modern
While
cutting-edge
traveling
functionality
of World of
that
Warcraft?
wasn't available in the early 90s, both saving and loading of games.
That
And
goes
for
without
those of you
saying,
who
really.
purchased any Blizzard Digital Anniversary Bundle via Battle.net, you'll automatically receive the Blizzard Arcade Collection on PC today. Now, you ready to hear? about
Have
some
I
other
got
video
that for
games?
free?
Let's hear what's next for World of Warcraft.
Come on.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy
Oh, sweet.
said, yes.
The
Wisp Cosmic
cinematics. It's so
Said.
amazing.
Guppy, you bought
Yeah.
it earlier. Wisp Cosmic Guppy
Oh, so good.
said,
Hello, everyone.
I know, right?
Can't be beat, can they, by any
Wisp
other
Cosmic
company,
Guppy.
Here
really?
you are. World
Said.
of Warcraft unites
Blizz
us all.
Cinematics.
Whether you're exploring the
They
Shadow
really pull their bloody
Classic
finger out on the
Azeroth,
cinematics
or
of this
another part
game.
of the Blizzard universe, I'm glad you could make it. Because we've got a lot of good
Wisp
stuff
Cosmic
to show you.
Guppy said,
First, let's start
maybe
with some
Square
Covenant
Enix.
Pride.
Maybe.
Kyrian, take flight.
Different sort of style there, innit?
Let the hunt begin.
Riot. Riot are very good.
Lords, to war! Vintha, let's party. The world has thrown a lot at us since the last BlizzCon. And the thing that's really kept everyone going on the WoW team
This guy's a bit of a dude, isn't
has
he?
been connecting with all of you. The bonds we forge with our guilds and family.
You have a lot of fun with him in your raid
friends
party, I think.
in WoW are powerful and real. As WoW enters its 16th year and Blizzard celebrates its 30th anniversary, we're so grateful to have the most dedicated and friendly communities in gaming. Let's recap the events in Azeroth. In WoW Classic, we fought an endless battle for South Shore and
Still don't have a
Torrenville.
level 60 on
We banded
Classic.
together to open the gates of Ahn'Qiraj and joined forces to take down Kel'Thuzad in his floating citadel of Naxxramas.
I just can't be bothered to play it.
In Shadowlands, we helped our covenant recover from the
Retail's too
Animatrons
good
brought on by
at the moment.
Sire Denathrius, master of the Vinthier and traitor to the Pantheon of Death. We survived the halls of Torghast and crafted legendary gear in our efforts to expel Denathrius from his castle lair. But innocent souls are still wrongfully being sent to the Maw. They face an eternity of torment, and heroes like Anduin remain chained in its depths. The jailer continues to grow in power. He's preparing to break free from the Maw and complete his plan to unmake the entire Warcraft universe. And Sylvanas, you may be wondering what she's been up to.
Yeah, what is going on with Sylvanas?
Today, we're excited to unveil our first major content update for Shadowlands, Chains of Domination.
Look around you!
What makes you believe you're not just a weapon to achieve his ends?
Enough! Join our cause, or be made to
I
serve.
think I prefer Sylvanas'
Right now.
old look.
You hold all the power. Make your choice, Sylvanas Windrunner.
Despite all our efforts, the Maw continues to grow. What if Denathrius' treachery is irreparable? The Primus is lost, and Bastion cannot save the Shadowlands alone.
None of this should have happened.
Perhaps the Winter Queen could...
My Archon, a living soul, seeks an audience.
A mortal?
A king. By all our measures, one who has spent his life striving for justice. One who would give anything to serve his people. One whose heart is true.
Very well. He may approach. Step forward. My Ascended have spoken of you. The king held captive in the Maw.
That prison could not hold me forever.
Why have you come to Bastion?
You have a key that I need.
You will release this soul from your grasp.
No. He is bound to me, just as you
Oh shit.
sought to bind your own brother.
Stabby, stabby.
The vessel performed its part flawlessly. 3 keys remain. Then they will see. Death was never meant to be chained.
I think they need to let us fly.
That is so
Hoping they're going to say that. And it
I know
doesn't
you
cost
probably have a lot of questions
you any
about what
work.
just saw, and and what it means for the next stage of your Shadowlands journey. Later today, my teammates Ian and Jeremy will be telling you more about Chains of Domination in our Shadowlands update. Please check out the World of Warcraft channel to find out more. Next, I'm excited to share our upcoming World of Warcraft charity pet program. We've heard a lot from our community about how much they love these pets and the opportunity to give to a good cause, along with ideas to make the program even better. So during this upcoming campaign,
Wisp Cosmic Guppy
I'm pretty crap
said,
with pets, to be honest.
that was spoiled for me about a week or so ago on Twitter.
Oh, was it really?
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said, someone data mined it.
Oh, did they? Oh, I don't keep track of that stuff. So that was all new to me.
Make this a fun challenge. If we reach a stretch goal,
I haven't done anything with the pets, with the battle pets. I'm gonna have to take some time to level them up.
Bananas! Literally. He was originally available to a select few back in Burning Crusade era, so we're excited to give everyone a chance to adopt him.
Okay.
And if we reach our stretch goal,
I've already got
Daisy the Sloth. She's an all-new pet.
I got a baby Winston.
When you need a hug. Your donations during this campaign will go to support
That was quite similar.
medical humanitarian organization Doctors Without Borders, also known by their French name Médecins Sans Frontières, or MSF. They're an amazing group doing important work around the world. We're grateful to have such a generous community, and we hope you'll help support this worthy cause. We'll be sharing the details about the charity pet program on the World of Warcraft website soon. So we've talked quite a bit about Shadowlands. Classic players, now it's your turn. It's my pleasure to hand off to my teammate, Holly Longdale. She's a longtime WoW
Burning
player,
Crusade.
a veteran MMO developer, and she's going to tell
Can you
us
just
what's
select
in
it though,
store
you know?
for WoW Classic.
As, like you either play 1 to 60 or you play Burning Crusade. Another option.
Hi everybody. First, I'd like to thank all of you who have ever been part of the WoW community over the years. You know, online worlds like WoW have been a huge part of our lives for decades now. As a dedicated MMO fan and a developer myself, I remember hearing that Blizzard was going to be making their own MMO. And I thought, well, I guess I'll check out that beta. And sure, we all call the game WoW. But really, wow. I could not believe I got bit by the MMO bug again. I was so excited to be able to make a Night Elf Hunter and be like that famous Dark Elf Ranger from the books that I loved. I have to tell you, Azeroth was, and still is, a place I love to live. Since last year, I've had the great honor to work alongside the WoW Classic team to bring these nostalgic experiences back to life for longtime fans and a whole new generation of players. As a fan myself, I've had so much fun in
Do you know my first character was a night
like
elf?
drive-by buffing or making friends on that long haul from Teldrassil to Ironforge. All the way
Wisp
to
Cosmic Guppy
absolutely staggering.
said,
Like when
Dwarf.
I jump blindly through
Wisp
the
I have my
Cosmic Guppy
second character.
said, still have it.
I have the second one I made. I deleted. The first one I made was a hunter.
Biggest roamer I had ever seen.
For some reason I
was
deleted
very
it
glad
because
that I had feigned
space
death
was
in
a
that
thing
moment.
back then, wasn't it?
And that's the thing about WoW. These stories and experiences we all share keep us
Wisp
coming
Cosmic
back
Guppy
time after time.
said,
With
yeah.
that said,
Got so much
I'm
bloody
super
character space
excited
now.
to be able to share with you where our adventures are taking us next.
Oh look! It's the Burning Crusade! Who'd have thunk it? This was my favourite one.
Dare enter my realm.
This is when where I met the guys that I play with now. Well, occasionally, I don't see him anymore, but... This is when I made my guild.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said, met my friends in STV getting ganked by a asshole rogue. Wisp Cosmic Guppy
Oh shit.
said, whilst
I can't actually remember. I had an ad out for guild members that the guys joined. I remember we started off and we didn't really talk an awful lot, but we used to hang out in Skype.
Upside down.
And it got to the point of where we were just chatting every single day and doing instances together. And then we had downtime. We started playing other games and like Left 4 Dead.
Brings back so many memories, right? Like exploring the fungal forests of Zanger Marsh, or being awestruck at the chaotic magic alive in Netherstorm, the Draenei in Exodar, the Blood Elves in Silvermoon.
Welcome to my channel.
Do you choose to
Jay, does it go?
or the Scryers in your
Do you remember
quest
this?
to fight the Legion? And of course, we can't forget gathering all your friends
This is where I met
to fight
Jade.
Illidan at the top of the Black Temple. I can't wait to relive it all with you. Since the team first set out on their own quest to bring the original WoW back to life, we have learned a ton about what players are expecting from this kind of experience. We've also learned when to keep things just as they were and where we all might be open to some changes. We're bringing all these lessons into Burning Crusade Classic with our primary goal to bring back
So can you
the same
select
feeling
it?
you had when you
Ye man
faced
good
the Felringer
times.
for the first time, or when you were digging through piles of Fellhound poop.
This is when I made the guild. I
Wisp
just
Cosmic
said.
Guppy
We can't get this
The
right
shrug.
without you, our
The
incredible
shrug.
community. Soon you'll be able to revisit Outland yourself when beta starts and tell us what you think.
I was trying to think of when I actually met you guys, and
All WoW Classic players are
I
going
was
to
saying
be
to
presented
Gut,
with a
but
meaningful
I think I
choice
literally just
for
made a
each
guild,
one of your
had an
beloved
advert out, and you guys joined. I don't
Do you want
remember
to
how
move
we
on into Burning
exactly
Crusade
met,
Classic?
but we just used to
Or
chat all the time.
Do you want to stay in the original Classic era forever? Whatever you decide, you can do it all with your one WoW subscription. Now, I know I've thrown a lot
So
at
we
you,
could just
but don't
select
worry.
it through the drop-down
We'll
menu.
be getting into the details in our panel later today.
So does that mean we
So
start at
stick with
60?
us. We'll make sure
Or do we have to
you
start do 1 to 60
are
again?
Prepared. And now we're going to hear what's coming up in Hearthstone.
Not going to tell us. But do we need a different character?
Greetings. We're truly excited to share with you everything that's coming to Hearthstone this year. But first, let's take a quick look back at the year of the Phoenix.
Looks like a card player, doesn't
We
he?
added our first new class, the Demon Hunter, and ventured into the ruthless Outlands. Then we went to Skulllands
No more
Academy
sweets.
and got to explore dual class cards.
Can't
and their
stop eating these
powerful
bloody
synergy.
things.
And with our third expansion of the year, we brought you Hearthstone's biggest update ever, alongside the menacing old gods in Madness at the Dark Moon Fair. We launched a brand new game mode, Duels, that saw more than 10 million matches on its first day. We also introduced our long-awaited achievement system and made a significant overhaul to the rewards and progression within the game. Now, it's time to say farewell to the Year of the Phoenix and see what's in store for Hearthstone this year. Welcome to the Year of the Griffin. Over the last couple of years, we've made big changes to Hearthstone. Throughout the Year of the Griffin, we want to keep delivering fun, new experiences and make sure
Do any of you guys play this at all?
playing Hearthstone
I've had a little go on it. I know what I'm
we're
doing.
giving the standard format its
I'm not.
biggest
I
shake-up ever.
don't replay
With the
it,
launch of the core set later
but I
this
do
year.
get it.
The core set
Wisp
replaces
Cosmic
the
Guppy
old basic and classic
said,
sets
Yeah.
with a collection
Dabble
of
every now and again.
235 cards made up of some of the best from throughout the years.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an
29
expert on it at all.
Awesome brand new cards.
I can see it's
Best
fun,
about
but I
the
don't
core
think it's
set is that
for
it's
me.
entirely free.
Not
So,
sure.
There's never been a better time.
I'll say that, and then tomorrow I'll probably pick up my phone and play it or something.
Hearthstone's legendary dragons, reimagined to feel more up to date and competitive for modern day Hearthstone. Ysera the Dreamer. You'll finally receive her full arsenal of dream cards right away. She's a nightmare for your opponents. Malagos the Spellweaver. He'll fill your hand with spells and is a powerful late game play, worthy of the aspect of magic. And finally, everyone's favorite black dragon, Deathwing. He's still as destructive as ever, but timed correctly, he won't leave you empty-handed. We'll also be launching a brand new format, Classic, where you can play Hearthstone as it was when it first launched. The Classic
I don't know if that's
will be
needed.
fully supported, complete with ranks and rewards using Hearthstone's original set of cards. So, if you want to relive the old school experience, then Classic is the place for you.
Has it really been around that long?
Classic revisiting the past. Now, let's take a look to the future and explore the first expansion of the year of the Griffin.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said. Yeah.
Alright.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said. It's been around a while.
You have come
A while.
adventure. But the Barons wants to break you. Your axe must be sharp.
Riot's card game's pretty good.
And your heart must be mighty. Strength and honor. This is who we are.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy
Right.
said.
Locktar.
We're headed to one of Warcraft's most iconic locales, the Barrens, and we'll come face to face with the heroes that inhabit it. Starting with one of the Horde's most iconic and well-known characters, a fierce loyalist, one-time war chief that embodies the honor, loyalty, and spirituality of the Horde, Shadowhunter Vol'jin. Shadowhunter Vol'jin is a neutral legendary that allows you to either bolster your own board or weaken that of your opponents. And to celebrate the announcement of Forged in the Barrens, this card is available for free for everyone later today. So log into Hearthstone and claim your free copy of Shadowhunter
Damn.
Vol'jin.
I gotta log into
And
Hearthstone
as a
now.
bonus, we're also giving away the brand new 30 Years of Blizzard card back. Next, we have another hero of the Horde who is making his first appearance in Hearthstone. The legendary Blade Master, Samuro, featuring the new keyword, Frenzy. Frenzy activates the first time a minion takes damage and survives. In Samuro's case, this can be used to clear your opponent's board.
I don't really like
Heroes of the Horde
have my
make
own
Samuro
deck or anything.
famous for their combat
Dig.
prowess. But others, like Thrall, are known
I
for
never
their
really got to that
powerful
sort of
elemental
stage where I had my own setup.
Take a look at this new shaman spell, Chain Lightning.
Kinda wanna
Chain
check it out
Lightning
now.
is a spell in a new cycle of cards that rank up and become more powerful when you have 5 and 10 mana, ensuring that they're always useful at every stage in the game. You'll also notice that they're categorized as nature spells. With Forged in the Barrens, we'll be permanently introducing spell schools across the entire game, which enables a whole host of exciting new strategies. And don't worry, members of the Alliance will be featuring some of your most beloved heroes and locales later this year. But what I love most about the Warcraft universe is its amazing characters. And our final announcement is our most ambitious addition to Hearthstone yet. It introduces a brand new way to play with your favorite heroes. Hearthstone Mercenaries. Mercenaries features strategic RPG gameplay, where you build teams consisting of some of the most iconic heroes and villains from the Warcraft universe, including timeless characters like the infamous Sylvanas Windrunner, and Ragnaros, the elemental lord of fire. You can also expect to see some of Hearthstone's fan favorites, like the unstoppable Devilsaur, King Crush, and the ever-growing Gruul the Dragon Slayer. You'll lead them in battle through highly replayable roguelike missions, where the map is randomly generated every time you play, and each node represents a unique challenge for your team to take on. Your heroes gain levels, new abilities, equipment, and can even evolve into more powerful versions of themselves. We're thrilled to finally show you Hearthstone Mercenaries. It is scheduled to launch later
Can you
this
actually
year,
get a
and
physical
we'll have more to share with you down the road.
version of this
Everything
game?
you've seen today
Is there
is just a
actual
taste of what's
cards,
coming
or is it
in
all
the Year of the
digital?
Griffin. So don't forget to tune in to our deep dive
Wisp
panel
Cosmic Guppy
after the opening ceremony,
said,
where we'll share
"Not
more
that I know
details
of."
on the core set, the new classic
Don't know why they didn't do
Forging
that.
the Barons, and our plans for Battlegrounds and Duels, as well as our upcoming single-player content. I want to thank the team for their amazing
Wisp
work.
Cosmic Guppy
And on behalf of all
said,
of us at Hearthstone,
Magic the
we want to
Gathering.
thank
Is
the many
it
millions
basically
of
Magic
you
the
who play
Gathering?
our
Is
games.
it like the same
Your
sort of thing?
dedication and
Wisp
support
Cosmic
is what
Guppy
drives us to make
said,
awesome updates and
"Too
pursue
big of a rival,
ambitious,
really."
fun ideas. We can't wait to kick off the Year of the Griffin with all of you, and we hope to see you in the game soon. Next up, you'll get an update on all things Diablo.
Here we go. Shit, look at that, man. It's looking clearer than I remember.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for joining us. I am so excited to kick off the Diablo segment of our show, and I am
Wisp
honored
Cosmic
to be here
Guppy
on behalf of all of our Diablo
said,
teams to share
"Our
the news and
Diablo."
updates we have in store for you today. We've got a lot of Diablo to cover, and I hope you'll agree with me that it's a great time to be a member of this community.
I hadn't seen anything on this
All right,
game
let's
yet.
kick things off with Diablo 4.
This is going to be cool, though.
We first shared our game with you during Blizzcon of 2019.
Wisp
and
Cosmic
we've been truly
Guppy
humbled by your response.
said,
We've kept
"Fucking
in touch
RSI
with
sim."
quarterly updates and sincerely appreciate the thoughts and valuable
What's,
feedback you've provided as we
what's an
embed more and more
RSI?
of the game
Real?
and share in its development. After all, Diablo belongs to you as much as it belongs to us.
Wisp
Most
Cosmic
recently,
Guppy
we teased and
said,
to our campfire stream.
"Repetitive strain
Savvy
injury."
fans
I was
of
thinking
course
too
understood
deeply.
That we meant more than just the character lighting and fire visual
I freaking loved the third one.
That's right.
Well, I loved it the
Today,
first
we're
time I
happy to
played it
announce
through.
that
I didn't really play
Brave
much of it after that.
Joining the barbarian, the sorcerer, and the druid
Wisp
on
Cosmic
this
Guppy
dangerous journey back to
said,
I've only played the third
"I
one.
love them
Class
all."
is one of the most
Wisp
exciting
Cosmic
things you
Guppy
can announce in a Diablo
said,
game.
"That's the
This one
problem."
is especially exciting to me as it's
In the third one, I didn't realise this. You could, you could sell items for real money on the auction house or something. I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to Diablo, but anyway, let's shut up.
Wisp
Just
Cosmic Guppy
Oh, was
said,
it?
"For a short time." Wisp Cosmic Guppy said,
Oh, was it?
"But that was closed down."
But you have to be patient. Now, pray with me. May Akarat guide and protect me.
May Akarat guide and protect me.
May he shepherd my soul
May he shepherd my soul
and grant it mercy.
And grant it mercy.
What are you doing here? This is not the time.
But this is confession. And I have sinned.
Gross.
I was a thief who stole from those more fortunate. I strayed from your light and found my trade in the shadows. They call it murder. I say, job well done.
Oh, Jesus, that looked really painful.
I am a thief, a heretic, a murderer, Father. Will Akarat save me?
You mock our light. But those monsters were a scourge upon my flock. And you were the answer to their prayers.
Then we are settled, and you owe me.
The name you seek is... Thank the heavens for you.
Heavens? I assure you, Father, the heavens didn't send me.
Looks so good. I don't know why, but I really like that sort of, what do they call it, isometric sort of looking down sort of look to a game. Probably all the RTSs I played as a kid.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said,
Yeah.
Isometric top-down jobby.
Jobby. Probably all the settlers and stuff I played.
The sound of that ear getting
I want to see more.
so brutal.
I used to love Settlers.
Our Settlers.
Played too much Settlers.
Cosmic Guppy
ever since the original
said,
Diablo. Even
love
seeing
them.
come back as NPCs
On the
and
Amiga.
mercenaries in Diablo 2's Rogue
I want to see some more.
served as a great bridge between the games. With the setting of
Show us the
Diablo 4
others.
being a larger world than we've ever played.
What did you play on Diablo
We're
3?
excited to show you not just what the successors
Probably
of the
all of them.
original rogues in the
You're about to
series
say.
have been
I
up
played
to
Monk.
since the fall of their order, but also what some of the other rogues in the world of Sanctuary might look like.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy
For Diablo 4
said,
has been
maybe.
first.
Wisp
And the
Cosmic
rogue
Guppy
takes us to a whole new level.
said,
From the
XD.
beginning, the rogue has been an incredibly
Really makes me want to download the game again.
any situation. Our goal is to let you create the kind of rogue that you want to play. Whether it's an unrivaled archer modeled after the original Sisterhood,
Wisp
or a
Cosmic
cloak
Guppy
and dagger rogue from the
said,
darkest alleys of
first
Chaldea.
playthrough was
In
Barb.
Diablo 4, you will have the freedom
Right.
to create the rogue that you imagine by customizing the looks, the background, and the playstyle of your character. Please stick around for our segment later today, where I'll be joined by other members of the Diablo 4 team to share a closer look at the rogue class, as well as some of the open world gameplay that we're bringing to the game. Spoilers,
Oh,
those severed
sweet.
ears are not just for show. But Diablo 4
Oh, I
is
bet that's
not
going to
the
be
only
so
Diablo
late.
we're talking about today. If you're looking for an authentic Diablo experience on mobile, we've got you covered. Diablo Immortal
Mobile. This is what got them in trouble last time.
AAA action RPG. From the visceral combat and epic loot to an all-new story,
Wisp
bridging
Cosmic
the gap
Guppy
between the events of Diablo
said,
2 and Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Later today, you can join the Immortal team, where they'll talk about some of the things they've learned from their recent alpha test and what's next for the game. But that's still not all. We have one last bit of very exciting Diablo news to cover. When you hear us talk about the classes, the items, or the stories of
Wisp
the
Cosmic
early
Guppy
Diablo games, you
said,
may have picked
Oh,
up
yeah.
Do you not have a phone, Leo?
Yeah.
for that golden era
Yeah, he
of
got in
Diablo.
trouble for that, didn't
Maybe you share that love of the classics, and just hearing us talk about them makes you want to take on
From
the
the
Viscera
community.
or Veil one more time. Or maybe even for the first time. After all, some of our favorite
he? Are you going to
moments
have a
happened long
PC
time ago,
version?
and
Wisp
not just
Cosmic
Somebody
Guppy
said, didn't they?
said,
If
Yeah.
so,
talk
we
about
have a
shooting
special
yourself
surprise
in the
for you
foot,
today.
Jesus.
Let's check
Definitely.
it out.
Sweet, we get some more. Get some more.
Now you know what I seek, Marius.
Are these the demons from... Don't do it! It seems not there.
I'm not acceptable of it.
Arise, Diablo. Lord.
Diablo 2 remake.
Though this be our darkest hour, it may yet be...
Jesus, looks rough. I didn't realise it was like that. That must have been around Red Alert sort of time, I'm guessing. Definitely looks better, but I mean, I wouldn't play it if I had a choice between this and Diablo 3. I missed it the first time round, so...
Not even death can save you from me.
Come on,
After more than
Overwatch.
20 years,
We do some Overwatch next?
Dark Wanderer has returned. And once again, he travels east. Always east. Diablo 2 is a landmark game for Blizzard. Diablo 2 Resurrected is a full HD remaster of both the original game.
I don't know why they don't do some more StarCraft stuff.
The 2D
Do a new
sprite-based
StarCraft.
classic that we love and brings it into the present in 3D, utilizing
They really don't seem to care about that game.
lighting technologies. It also includes modernizing all 27 minutes of cinematics, recreated shot for shot with the explicit intention of preserving both the look and the pacing of the original movies. Blizzard has a long history of games that we're proud of. And when we think about Diablo 2, we think about it as a definitive pillar in our foundation. Now, it's funny to think that some of you weren't even born when D2 was released, which makes it all the more important that we deliver an
Who's that then?
authentic experience.
No one's that young,
wherever you
surely.
play. We want everyone to relive their memories or experience the game for the very first time on their platform of choice. And so we're excited to bring Diablo 2 Resurrected to PC and console, along with cross-progression. And for those of you who are in love with the original, and you just wish it worked more seamlessly on modern computers, you can bring back all of that nostalgia exactly as you remember it, and enjoy the game in its original 2D form, much like we did with StarCraft Remastered. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. Later today, Diablo speedrunner Mr. Llama will host a roundtable with members of the development team on the dedicated Diablo channel. If you are a Diablo 2 fan, I encourage you to take a look. So, from Diablo 2 Resurrected, to Burning Crusade Classic, to the Blizzard Arcade Collection. It's a whole lot of looking
When can
back.
we get on Burning Crusade?
And
I
while we
wonder?
have teams dedicated to bringing these timeless experiences into your hands, it's actually a very small percentage of our developers working on these
Wisp
projects.
Cosmic Guppy
Far more
said,
people are working
be a
on the
while I
future
think.
of Blizzard.
I'm.
Wisp
And in
Cosmic
addition
Guppy
to what
Oh
we're
yeah,
talking
she did.
about
Said-
Didn't she? Yeah.
She did say beta.
I might have to get on there and try and level up my character, but it's just taken so
and
freaking
beyond.
long.
If you had asked us 30 years ago,
It was
what
painful
gaming
back
would
in the
look like
day.
today, none of us could have predicted the current Blizzard lineup of games. The advances in technology are one thing.
Wisp
but
Cosmic
it's
Guppy
really what those advances
said,
have enabled.
Ulu Quincy Boss Man getting that itch XD.
And the
I just want to be ready for like
the way people
Burning Crusade, I guess. I mean, I'm enjoying retail still,
the way people are increasingly
so I don't know.
able to express their identity and celebrate
It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the way it was back then, so I don't know.
communities and platforms. The explosion of things like streaming, cosplay,
Wisp
and
Cosmic
esports.
Guppy
It would have
said,
been hard to imagine
no.
any of that 30 years ago. And at Blizzard, that is what excites us about the next 30 years. There is so much that we're working on. And some of it you already know about. The
Wisp
rest,
Cosmic Guppy
we look forward to talking to you
said,
about it when the
but
time
it's
is right.
nice to enjoy it again knowing what we now
Just
know
like
about the
real
game.
Yeah.
The worlds of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, and Hearthstone are diverse, expansive, and full of potential. We are not only iterating on the experiences that you've come to expect from us, we're also exploring different ways to express our worlds and welcome more players from more places into them. And we aspire to continue to lead on priorities like accessibility and toxicity control, and to continue supporting causes that have a positive impact on the real world. We want to continue to bring those same feelings of joy and achievement.
Oh, it's feeling so
we all
bright.
felt when we
I got a
first
light in my face.
the Diablo and hardcore mode.
Bloody eyes.
Because when we geek out on those experiences with others,
Wisp Cosmic
can't help but
Guppy
see the similarities
said,
between
Can't, man.
turn it
feel
off.
what's possible.
Wisp
not that,
Cosmic
it-
Guppy
Of course,
said,
there are new
let's
Blizzard
go after dark.
that we haven't
It
visited.
would be the same. I had a problem with this eye early on in the week.
Finally unveil those games and experience
It was bright red. I don't know what happened to it. I couldn't.
them what we do.
I couldn't open it. I kept blinking.
Their spaces.
I must have scratched my eye. I'm assuming. We got loads of stuff, and the wife got eye stuff for me to like clean it out in case I had something in there and stuff.
And through it all, our mission statement
So it's a bit irritated.
to creating the most epic entertainment experiences ever, along with our core values, led by gameplay first, will continue to guide our way. So on behalf of
Wisp
everyone
Cosmic
at Blizzard,
Guppy
thank
said,
you for being on this journey.
takes a while for scratches to heal on eyeballs.
Yeah, it felt like it was right underneath the eyelid.
Professional life to serve you, and the honor of all of us at Blizzard
My brother,
to be the
Wisp Cosmic Guppy
he got a coat. He got a hanging.
I remember my eye surgery being sore as hell for a long while.
Oh man, that must have sucked. My brother's had surgery as well. He
What's coming next for the
do you know that
Well,
window netting? They're on like a wire,
for those of you
and they
looking
attach on
for
either
an update
side.
on
The
Overwatch,
spring loaded on either side. One of them flicked. He was playing with
Wisp Cosmic Guppy
it. Flicked
said,
off and
yeah,
got stuck in his eye, like the hook bit stuck in his eye, and he had to go to the doctors. He's also had sand in his eye
Wisp
before
Cosmic Guppy
as well.
said, oh shit.
Yeah, we buried him up to his neck when he was a kid, me and my mates, and he got sand in his eye, and he had to go to the doctors for that as well.
and Hearthstone, you'll get a closer look on their respective channels.
Mind you, I've been for. I got sawdust in my eye and I got putty in my eye when I was working on site.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said,
Oh shit.
I had a detaching retina.
That's pretty damn serious, Gup.
Be good to one another.
What did you get? Whacked in the head or something?
Before we kick things off, here's a little something from a previous BlizzCon headliner.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hey!
We're Metallica. Thanks for having us at BlizzCon 2014.
Metallica?
We would love
Wisp
to be
Cosmic
there this
Guppy
year, but obviously
said,
can't be.
Now had a cyst
so
forming behind it, life and
here we are,
GIT away.
and this is for you.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said, lifting.
Are they like just playing to no one? That seems really weird, doesn't it? I want to get my guitar out and play along. Is it just the three of them? Oh. Oh, there he is. There's the other one. Kind of sounds like what ours sounded like, playing in a hall somewhere. Their original bass player died in a it was a bus crash, wasn't it? This must be so easy for them to play now. They must have played this song so many times. Where they were like looking forward to playing to a room full of geeks, and now they're stuck in a shed somewhere. Live from their practice room.
Nightbot said,
Go away, Nightbot.
don't forget to follow or sub and check out https twitter.com requints https discord ggtzeq.
I'm king of the world!
For the Horde!
For Lordaeron!
Oh, cool. We get those as well. Oh, and the first Diablo.
Your death will. Morta Vespa Gaia Inu.
Help! Help! Strike with great vengeance!
Hello!
Hello? Oh, was that something in the Discord, is it? Oh, you alright?
You are not prepared! Frostborn hungers.
This bit's quite loud. Turn it down a bit. Good day at work?
I'm still at work.
Oh, why are you so shit? I suppose you can watch all this on catch up. It'll be on YouTube after, don't it? You just missed Metallica.
Oh, they never introduced that one. Or did they?
Say that again?
They never introduced that, did they? Never said, oh yeah, Metallica's playing. I'd known that, we would have been watching it from the start.
It was just the one song, to be honest. Live from their practice room. So I got that 30th anniversary thing. I got like a load of old games for free.
Said, like BlizzCon, you can rewatch it on BlizzCon website.
Yeah, you can watch it on the BlizzCon website. That's right. This little cartoon at the moment about all the games.
Justin XM.
Update for the for
Welcome
Hearthstones.
to my channel.
Diablo.
Justin
The
XM
Diablo
said,
thing was really
ever
cool.
Play StarCraft?
Yeah, I love StarCraft. Love it. Colin, who I'm chatting to now, he plays it all the time still.
I'm watching the live broadcast. It's now doing the bit of Overwatch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Justin XM said, Brood War.
Brood War. Is that like one of the expansions, was it? The Brood War or something?
Yeah, that was one of the start. Yeah.
Justin XM
No.
said, guess not LOL.
No. I mean, I don't remember. I don't really remember. I enjoy playing it. I'm not like massively knowledgeable on it. I do actually like those RTS type of games, though. Do enjoy playing those. So we get the Blizzard Arcade Collection available now. Did you hear? Did you want me to tell you stuff that you've missed? So we're getting Burning Crusade. I think you knew that anyway,
Justin
didn't you?
XM
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, I still play it from time to time. Came out in."
Oh, was it one of the older ones? I only played the most recent StarCraft 2. So I didn't play the original.
A little bit about my background. I spent 13 years working on EverQuest. I started as a game designer and eventually became the head of the studio for the EverQuest franchise. That said, I've always been a WoW player since beta. So this is obviously a dream come true for me, and I'm thrilled to be here.
Turn us up. Turn us up.
I'm Patrick Dawson. I'm the production director for World of Warcraft. I've been at Blizzard for 15 years now, and have been on WoW for most of that time. Avid WoW player myself, and really excited to open up that dark portal again as well as through it.
And my name's Brian Birmingham.
It's weird seeing
and I'm
Crash
the lead software
Bandicoot
engineer
on a
on
launcher
WoW
now,
Classic.
isn't it?
I've also been at Blizzard for 15 years. I started on World of Warcraft. I spent about 3 years on Hearthstone as well, and then came back to the World of Warcraft team to work on WoW Classic. And it has been a great joy to me to work on this team.
There's a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
So earlier we announced, yay, Burning Crusade Classic is coming. But there's a lot more to it. Let's take a look at the features.
I need details. Like, do we have to start from level 1 again, or start from level 60?
I was so excited by playing
Or can we just use the characters we've already
I played
started
both.
using?
And I will say my heart's with Alliance. I also took up jewel crafting on my Jernai Shaman.
So
Corner of the market.
The way she made it sound is that we can just switch between them. Like we can stay at 1 to 60 if we want to.
I completely lost my time.
So like, what would happen to that character? Would you just go back to level 60 or?
Being there back then, I mean, it was our first expansion ever. So all the new features was like this really cool moment of like what's coming next, what's going to happen, and one of the things that was pretty impactful to the game was Horde having paladins and Alliance having shaman. I mean, as an avid PvPer myself,
we didn't like it at the time.
Going back and
we didn't like it at the time. We liked those differences between the classes, like the between the races. Like, Alliance. Yeah, they should have the paladins. Horde, they had the shamans. That was their thing.
That's not what you said.
Yeah, no, but no, I did.
No, you said they're cheating.
I understood polymorph druids, but shaman, why? Like now I started to understand shaman a little bit better. We got some of their benefits. I actually got to see totems being placed down on my side for once, and got to see the frustration of dealing with Bubble Hearth on the other.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing raids, we were always jealous of the Alliance having paladins for Blessing of Salvation. Like people would be pulling aggro off me, and I'd be yelling at them like, "Wait for 3 Sunders!" And the Alliance is like, "No, it's no problem. Just go."
Yep. So hey, I mean, we were upset raiding like Razorgore without Earthbind. I mean, it really evened the playing field for both PvE and PvP, which was kind of cool. But there were a ton of new features and just abilities with this too. As we got to level 70 and got to experience new content and new things. I remember one of my first experiences with understanding what it meant for designed by Blizzard, right?
Oh,
Because I was an engineer, right? I wasn't a designer. I was working on like the live ops team at the time, and I was playing my class, avid player of Mage, and I sent this long email to Tom Chilton saying like, hey, here's what Mage needs.
The Dawson Manifesto.
So it was a well thought out forum post. And what was in it was things like bring back invisibility, let's get a threat dump in the class. And I didn't even necessarily tie those two together, but he was like, that's a pretty good idea, let's get Mage's invisibility. And just knowing that skill was coming along with some other stuff,
Blood Elf.
Mages, like the Molten Armor, the Ice Lances, was just really cool.
New Blood Elf Pally.
Stuff in Burning Crusade.
On the other side of that, I was really
back
excited about
to
Spell
Healer
Reflect
done.
because I was really frustrated getting polymorphed and being able to like reflect that back on the Mage.
As a Mage, I was not excited for you to get
I bet you weren't. And there were even some PvE encounters that had
do quests for like
back. So I remember that was
really resurrection and stuff like that, didn't you?
And use it as a defensive ability as well.
I was a hunter.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I've switched.
What
I remember just chasing beasts.
As soon as you hit level 10, that was it. The quest for resurrection.
Oh yeah, I remember
With
that.
Cosmic
I remember it
Guppy
now.
Talking about that too.
Said,
Yeah.
yes,
And the mounts.
That was a whole
Yeah.
new world for us.
Yeah, for hunters it was
Battlegrounds and the way they worked
learning
before,
how to tame your
the way
beast.
the
Like,
matchmaking happened, usually
Yeah.
it was pretty competitive in PvP, so I would either get in there and stomp the enemy team who was just there to be
Oh, like here at Eye of the Storm.
we weren't like
yeah.
the best of the
Well,
best.
it's when
So
arenas
we
first
ended
started.
up going against one of those
Yeah.
teams, it was just like, well, geez, we're just getting stomped now.
They're gonna have to have a new esport just for classic arena, aren't they?
Minded opponents, right? So if you were a little bit more casual, you get the opportunity to play against people who weren't maybe so competitive.
Could be pretty
Or
cool,
if you
actually.
were, like cutting edge. Go for it,
Arcanite
try
Reapers
to
might
be
have to
the
make a
best of the
comeback.
best. What was great about that is it really just spawned an esport. Like that wasn't. We didn't design it for that. We just wanted people to have fun. But when we noticed, like, hey, everybody's playing this, everybody's like competing in this, people are watching it, we had to embrace that. We started featuring it at Blizzcon, and we've been doing it every year since.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I think one of my favorite things to recollect was the exciting zones that you would travel through. One of my favorite memories was actually in the first zone, Hellfire Peninsula, and it was adventuring around in Hellfire Peninsula, going around and doing all those quests.
That was PvP. They introduced PvP in
because collecting parts
open worlds, didn't they? Like those places where you captured the flags.
And then all of a sudden you see the screen start to shake, and like these thump, 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 and then and you're like, oh my god, I gotta run, he's right on top of me.
Sounds still haunts my dream.
Made people do open world PvP.
Even in life, it's just feign death. Yeah. Like, you hear it, feign death.
Yeah, just get out of here. And then the payoff when you later go to Netherstorm and they give you the quest, they're like, could you get me a part from inside the Fel Reaver? You're gonna have to kill him. And you're like, that guy? Like that guy that used to terrorize me? They're like, yeah, I think you could take him now. And that was such an exciting payoff to be able to like bring that full circle and go back and see him again.
For me, I snuck into beta. I got really lucky because I could see the construction sign for some of the zones, and of course I ignored it and went and explored. So I remember running through Blade's Edge and just seeing dragon carcasses and skeletons impaled in the environment.
I still use that
and then
flying mount.
moving on to
That's like one of my
Netherstorm. I
favourite
just
flying mounts.
was blown away, even from Zangermarsh all the way
Because
through.
it wasn't easy to get hold of that bloody thing back in the day.
No, you had to proper.
It was a massive grind.
Then you come up to Area 52. That's what I love about WoW is you can
Well,
have
let's face it,
epic
Burning Crusade was
storylines
also
that still
the,
find likeness in it. So I just loved it.
Release
I
of
love
the
it. I'm an explorer.
Shattered.
You know, for me, I remember Burning
Was it?
Crusade
It's
really
not the Shattered
opened
Sun.
up a new gameplay type for me.
Up
I
and Quill
became
for
a
last
collector in
area.
Burning Crusade, right? And it
Yeah,
kinda
what's the
started
Shattered
with
Sun, wasn't it?
Outdoor and Scryer rep. Because I got my outer rep.
Can't remember.
And then I was switching to Scryer. People were like, you're insane.
Can't remember.
And I was like, I bet I can.
When you got to finally kill Jaden.
And I did.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said,
I don't know.
Was it?
He's lost me a little bit.
Even got some of the older reps like Thorium Brotherhood and Winterspring.
It's very easily done.
Ledge came out. The world just opened up.
Like, I'm not one of those people that I enjoy the stories and stuff at the time. It doesn't really sink in there though. You know, and the names, some of the names I don't remember very well. Unless they're. Unless I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
You were flying around harassing people, Pat?
I'm more into running in and hitting somebody in PvP. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
That's just a quick look at some of our memories for Burning Crusade, and that was 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that code has been hanging around for 13 years. And we're not just doing a save as Burning Crusade classic.
Oh no, it's a lot harder than that.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
So let's get into some of those details.
So one of the challenges has been that we don't actually want to ship on the old code, and the reason for that is because it's got a lot of bugs and difficulties with the architecture that we don't want to have to deal with. But we do want that old data.
Bugs?
We talked
Really?
about this when we did the original launch of Classic.
Yeah,
was
we
how the data is really the
Pinterest,
thing that
really.
describes how the game is supposed to be played and what things are supposed to happen in it. And so we want to bring that old data and we want to run it on the modern code, the same as we did for Classic. And there's like 750,000 rows of data that we have to go through and convert from their old formats to their new formats. And fortunately, we have really talented engineers, and we run automated scripts that go through this. But even after we run these
Massive
scripts,
whips.
we have to compare them with with how it used to behave and make sure that we've actually done the conversion correctly. And then there's even some things that are making it more difficult this time, like the fact that we've made a couple of minor changes or bug fixes in the classic data. And we want to make sure that we keep those as we're going into Burning Crusade. So we have to merge those changes with the changes that happened with the Burning Crusade originally, and make sure that we have a coherent set of changes that make sense to bring us from Classic into the Burning Crusade.
There's an enormous amount of time spent looking at, okay, this is how it came out now. We have a reference client that is the original.
That's right. We do use the old code for that. So like we still have it. We just don't want to ship on that anymore. But we have like the old code with the old data, knows exactly how it's supposed to behave. So those things work together, and we can bring that up internally and take a look at it and say like, okay, this is how it was back then. This is exactly what it used to look like. And we do sometimes find things that are bugs we still want to fix, but a lot of times it will tell us like, oh, this thing is not a bug. This is actually the intended behavior, or this is something we don't really remember right. There's a tendency to want to chase your own memory, like, I remember it being like this, and it's like, no, it's not always exactly the way you remember it. Everybody has that kind of human failing, even us, and so a lot of times we'll have an argument about, I remember it this way. Well, I remember it this way. Let's go and check. We can look.
Well, you know, another reason to ship on the new code is really just the years of stability, improvements, and the fact that the world didn't look the same back in 2007 as it does today. Like,
That's true.
There wasn't cloud architecture at that point. I remember I had the privilege of being on the live ops team where I got to see what all the servers looked like and how it was all architected. And to pull back the curtain on this a bit, the way it was is everything was its own like server, right? Like they didn't really talk to each other very well. So each realm had 11 blades on it. And these blades were just bare metal blades, and like one blade was for Azeroth, one blade was for Kalimdor, one was for Outland, and then we had some for instances. And you know, back then what would happen without cloud is you would try to request resources, and maybe a lot of people were running dungeons. And so it would give you back things like transfer aborted, not found.
I remember that.
We don't want to go back to those days. So now we can take advantage of things like the cloud and not have those resource issues. So shipping on this new code is a big improvement in stability.
Everyone trying to get in at the same time. Fuck it, we're not doing this tonight then. Go to bed.
We finally get a build for Burning Crusade Classic. Super excited. The team gets together, we're preparing for a playtest, and we go to create our characters, and we see this blood elf who, you know, he remembers the sun well. He forgot his pants.
Yeah.
So everything didn't work the first time?
What? I know.
Yeah, I did mention like we had to go through and check for problems in those conversion scripts. And so yeah, sure enough, what's going on here is that this guy thinks he's dressed, but he isn't, and you can see why he thinks he's dressed if you look down.
Does that happen to you a lot?
Only in my high school dreams.
You can see if you look at his calves, you can see that he's got they're flared out because he thinks he's wearing boots. And the way the system works is we first set the geometry up for all the items that you're supposed to be wearing, and then we layer on various images that we call textures, and we'd use those to build up a single composite texture that's then wrapped around the geometry. But of course, in this case, when we were layering them on, none of the textures were assigned, so it just started with his naked body, and then was going to go layer on textures and didn't find any. So it thinks he's dressed, and so it's removed the underwear because it thinks it's put clothes on top. But there aren't anything there. They're all just completely transparent. So it's almost like the Emperor's new clothes. He's wearing invisible clothes, only in this case, that's really what's happening.
It's crazy. And then, of course, I wanted to try Draenei because that's where my heart lies. I'm an Alliance girl. And this Draenei looks to be heads above the rest.
That's not the Exodar.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
It's Dunmorrow, right?
It is, and that's exactly the problem. It looks like the Draenei's too tall, but the real problem is that we're in the wrong place. And so, yeah, when you go to the Dunmorrow character select screen, of course, the camera is positioned for much shorter races like gnomes and dwarves, and so it's about knee-high on a Draenei.
And then water. Really, Brian? We have water and Hellfire?
Yeah, so
Go for a swim.
it turns out that Outland has a funny, unique feature that it doesn't have any oceans because the water just all falls off the edges and goes out into space or something like that. I'm not sure how that works in the game.
You off here?
Yeah, got bail off.
There's no ocean there, but we had accidentally flagged it.
Alright, man. I shall speak to you later, alright?
Speak to you in a bit.
Cheers.
Turn it back off.
So through all of these processes, yes, we're obviously we're fixing what is broken, but also we thought it was a good time to start enacting what we call #some changes to gameplay and how things should work.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like Classic, our guiding principle was no changes. The goal was to provide as true-to-life, authentic experience of Classic that we possibly could for the community, and we accomplished that. What was interesting to me is to see this vibrant community that embraced it and then said, hey, but we're not exactly the same as we were 15 years ago, right? And they're right. Like the times have changed, the world has changed, and so some of those things that maybe were out there that were not great and were warts back in the day is not something that we would want to ship again. Like something that feels a little buggy or wrong or incorrect. So the idea behind this is let's provide what the Burning Crusade experience was without those warts.
And this really, I think, illustrates the difference is spell batching. We actually had a lot of requests originally.
What I wish that we could have done is that they could have somehow saved the characters that we had back then on those as well. So when we went back, I had my level 60 hunter, level whatever warrior, and in the Burning Crusade, that you started with your original characters as well. But that's an awful lot of data for them to save. But mind you, they've kept our characters.
We're starting to find that fresh.
Like, I've still got characters that I used back then. You know, they've still kept that data.
After they've been playing with it for 2 years, they're really ready to see it go, and we're ready to take it out too. So we're going to remove spell batching with Burning Crusade.
That's definitely great, because I remember like every 2 weeks I get a bug report, Vanish is broken again.
Wisp Cosmic Butty.
It's because of stuff like this, right? Like if you vanish at the same time a fireball's hitting you,
Transferred it
it's
out
gonna
of
pop
the
you out,
time.
right?
Exactly.
Like, and so we were trying to do all these tacky solutions.
What you did,
to it. The real answer is just don't spell batch.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the ability to do that.
So
Wisp Cosmic
glad we're doing it
Guppy.
now.
Yeah.
You know,
Said.
another one
Did
that
ya?
I can think of is
From server
just
to
how
server.
the rating
I'm still the same server.
Wisp
things were
Cosmic
very
Guppy.
different back
Said.
in 2004, 2005
When they
timelines
upgraded them.
compared to today. So
Wisp Cosmic
you know,
Guppy.
the rating
right.
community
Said.
knows exactly what's going on,
Know
and they
them.
want a challenge. They want more of a challenge. So you know, rather than always giving them like the last
Wisp
version of
Cosmic
the boss,
Guppy.
the final form of the boss,
Yeah.
which maybe has been hit
The
with a few
data.
nerfs. Let's not do that anymore. Let's give them a more challenging version of the boss. Like, I'll give you an example of like Muru, right? Where the initial version of that boss had a lot of spell pushback. And so like that made it really tough to bring casting classes to that fight. We did fix that pretty quickly and change the fight to allow for that. Now that's a change we probably would incorporate in this, right? Like we don't want people to feel excluded or not part of being able to do a fight like that. But then probably a month or so after that, we nerfed Muru's health. That doesn't need to happen. Let's just keep it in the hard form. We can evaluate any changes we need to make after that, but yeah, it won't just be like, hey, final form, we're not even going to look at it. Let's call it a day. So.
Yeah. So how did your mage handle the pushback?
I just
You get
sat
It
sat on
feels
the bench.
personal, yeah.
No, I was the raid leader, so I got to choose who went. But
The one mage allowed to go.
that was honestly that's one of my favorite fights ever in World of Warcraft. That was a really fun fight.
That's awesome. Another change that we're talking about making is along the lines of that PvP balance and faction balance is, you know, obviously with Burning Crusade, paladins are introduced to the Horde and shamans are introduced to the Alliance, and that was intended to be a balancing of the factions and let's, you know, make them even. And then they wanted to kind of keep a little bit of flavor of that faction identity, so they kept Seal of Blood on the Horde and Seal of Vengeance on the Alliance. It was intended to be equivalent power abilities that were just slightly different in flavor, but in retrospect, Seal of Blood was just so much better. And so one of the changes that we are going to make is we are going to give the opposite faction's seal to the other faction, but we're going to do that at max level. So we keep just a little bit of that faction identity, where Horde will get Seal of Blood at level 64 on schedule, and then get Seal of Vengeance at level 70. And similarly, Alliance will get Seal of Vengeance at level 64, and then their equivalent, Seal of the Martyr, at level 70. Another thing we want to talk about is arena teams. When it first came out in Burning Crusade, the arena team system only let you have the same number of players on your team that was the size of the bracket it was for. So, for example, a 3v3 team could only have 3 players on the team. So if someone was like sick or unavailable one night, you couldn't play. And that felt really frustrating. So we're definitely going to go with like the last version of that, where you could have twice the size of the bracket on your team roster, so that you had alternates you could swap in and out.
Oh, shit.
And then that way, as long as anybody had participated in, I think, 30% of the matches, then they got the full credit.
So you made a team, and you were stuck with that team.
I think that came later, and we're also considering whether or not we want to do something with that as well. Because another thing that was problematic about arenas was the way that the ELO system was so inflationary. And so we're talking about whether or not we want to move forward with.
It was hard
converting
work
like
to get
something more
teams
like the modern
together.
MMR system, so that it isn't isn't as punishing to people in terms of like waiting hours for a match at the highest levels and things like that.
And another change, we're going to give players access to Blood Elf and Draenei early, so that before we actually open the Dark Portals, you'll have a chance to level those up. That's definitely not something we did originally.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
I had a friend who was really frustrated that the rest of us were all running around.
Oh, that'd be
Outland.
cool.
He was like, I'm still back in like wetlands. Yeah.
What
is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
When can I play with you guys? So
Lewis.
I'm really glad we're doing that.
Yeah.
Actually makes me want to play
That's the plan.
Classic
Cool.
now.
Pre-patch will come out and you'll be able to go start your Blood Elves and
Yep.
Draenei.
And then content. So we've got some phases happening.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy.
So the content phases that we
Said.
got coming up are exciting.
You say
We're
that.
going to start
I'll
with
try.
Karazhan and Gruul's Lair. and
Retail is
Nycteron.
just so good though at the
And
moment.
we want to start with
Wisp
just that
Cosmic
release
Guppy.
because we found with Classic
Said.
that people really enjoy that kind
Then
of
about
pure
a week
progression,
and you'll be
and
like,
that's
fuck
where all the
that
tier
shit.
4 gear
Is that what you did?
Those raids.
I
And
did
we want
actually
people
play
to
it
have
a
an
fair
opportunity
bit.
to level up, catch up to their
just
friends,
trouble
and all
is-
kind of go through these things together. So as we unlock each chapter, we want to make sure everybody's had enough time.
Trouble is, you know what World of Warcraft's like. It causes, it always has done. It
Wisp
causes
Cosmic Guppy.
all sort
Said.
of emotional problems.
Now I enjoy it.
Do you still play it?
Wisp Cosmic Guppy. Said.
Oh yeah.
Just run out of real life time.
Was available from the launch of Burning Crusade, but nobody could really get in there because of the way these
Just
things work.
It always has done. It always manages to cause
And then that'll go with
unnecessary aggro arguments.
And then
You know.
Season 3 will come out along with a little
Wisp
bit of catch-up
Cosmic
gear for
Guppy.
anybody who's taken that long
Said.
to catch up. It's
Too
another
buggered from
smaller
work a lot
instance,
of the
10
time,
mana.
to be honest,
And then
mate.
finally,
Yeah,
Phase 5 will be
I totally
Sunwell and
understand.
Season 4.
It's been a very busy year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
It is. It's an expansion with a lot in it.
Yes.
A lot in it.
And so we
I don't
spent
play a
time
lot of
talking about
evenings,
Burning Crusade Classic and
to be
Burning
honest,
Crusade,
anymore.
which is
Because I'm
exciting.
just.
We're very
I
excited
mean,
about
you.
it. Talk about there's a lot
You just,
coming. We wanna
when you
walk
guys
through
see me, it doesn't
how
look
this
like
is
I'm
gonna materialize.
Well, yeah, really
doing
the
an
question
awful lot,
is,
and
you know, we
probably
have a diverse
don't, to be
player
honest.
base,
But
people have a lot of different wants and needs.
I don't know what. Something about getting being older or something.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy.
Group of people that we
Said.
wanted to make sure that we were serving
With
well.
kids it's knackering.
Yeah, it is. They're not too bad. It's something to do with getting older. I think you get up early, you go to bed earlier.
As we
That's
said
what it
earlier,
is.
You're going to be able to make a choice. So we'll talk about and explore these choices in some detail, and I'll give you some examples. So to start with the
Wisp
current
Cosmic
servers you're
Guppy.
on now, Classic
Said.
Live servers, are going to
You are
become what
years
we're
older
calling
than me.
progression servers.
I'm not saying
What
I'm
that
old.
means
Cosmic
is
Guppy.
The servers that are live
Said.
now will always unlock any expansion we release. So when we get to our
I'm definitely
patch
not
day,
saying I'm old,
you're going to be presented
but,
with a choice. Do you want to continue
I
on
definitely
into the
feel
Burning
tired in the
Crusade,
evening sometimes.
or do you want to move to Classic? So in that space, you're going to do that for every single character. So for my example, I'm on more
Wisp
Resticore.
Cosmic Guppy.
So I've got a level
Said.
60. I am definitely
I'm
taking that
feeling
on
old at
through
the
to
moment.
Burning Crusade. But I've got a couple of
You're
mid-levels
at that-
that
that's
I know
when-
I want to move
that's
with
the
my
switch.
friends. Those are characters
You're on the Switch at the moment, because when I was your age or before your age, I was still doing tons of stuff like building stuff and building stuff outside. And I built this fishing box. I used to do stuff all the time, and then shortly after that, things just started to get more and more tired. I think.
For a lot of people, their favorite expansion that we've done. We want to make sure that those people are
Not
served
trying to
too.
make you feel bad or
one of the ways
anything.
we could do that is provide.
But I think I had
Cosmic
darker
Guppy.
hair
interested
then
in
as
coming
well.
back, that maybe aren't interested in doing the
Work and
classic WoW
people's
experience, but really
reactions
want
to the
hop right into
pandemic
Outlands
are
when it's
wearing
possible.
me down.
No, I
Yeah,
bet,
so
man.
the
I
team,
bet.
we spent quite a bit of time discussing it because we want to make sure we respect the time of the people that have been playing Classic for 2 years. But also, we want people to be able to enjoy Burning Crusade if they loved it the first time and maybe miss Classic. So we are going to offer a level 58 boost for purchase, but it does come with some restrictions. So it's going to be 1 per account. It's not going to be usable on Blood Elf or Draenei. It'll have some dungeon blues. It'll have level 40 mount skill, no professions. It's the basics. Basically your Outland starting kit.
That's cool. That's a really great.
You have to
way jump
buy
into the
this,
game
do you?
together.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, I missed that
Looking
bit.
forward to that. Look, I know a lot of people came back to play WoW Classic, and that's all they want. That's all they ever wanted. They're like, you know what, Burning Crusade, that's awesome. I'm sure some people are going to love that, but for me,
Wisp
I came back
Cosmic
for WoW
Guppy.
Classic.
Said.
What do they
Yeah.
get to do? What's
LVL
Yeah, that
boost
was
like
really
in
important for us
retail.
too. So,
But not for Blood Elves. So I'll go do that from level 1.
Frame this. So when we get to our patch day, which is prior to the Dark Portal opening, when I said before, like I'll go back to my example.
No,
Worm
makes
Rest,
sense though.
we will be launching Classic Era Realms at the same time as we do our patch, and you will have that choice. So when you make the choice to go to Burning Crusade Classic, or you make the choice, like on my example, my level 40 druid,
and you choose which chance to take into TBC as well by the sounds of it.
And what Classic Era means is that those particular servers are going to stay in that era forever. So that is going to remain classic till the end of time.
So you get the one choice.
You'll be able to make that choice for every single character. Do you go
just once, like once it's done.
To go to classic era. Let's say you're behind the times a little
Wisp
bit.
Cosmic Guppy
Have that choice.
said,
"Oh,
a character."
Gonna miss the boat to era.
Sounds awesome, and choice in WoW is something that's meaningful. It's always
Wisp Cosmic Guppy.
And I think it's something that's
to be honest, I will
community that you're going to choose to go to the Burning Crusade or you're going to choose to go to Classic. Some people may not be comfortable with that choice, and while we think that choice,
I think I'd rather play Burning Crusade. To be honest, so that's. I would probably, if I had the choice, I'd probably just play that. If I was to play,
it will shuffle you onto the respective server on choice.
I might keep one.
Wisp Cosmic Guppy said, by the sounds of it.
My alliance characters, I might keep them 1 to 60 because for nostalgia, I was on alliance 1 to 60, and then I moved to Horde when the Burning Crusade come out. So I might just do it like that.
My character that lives in Classic Era, while I also go to Burning Crusade with that with that character, and that way I can stay with my friends who are really excited to go to Karazhan. I'm really excited to go to Karazhan. I want to see my hunter go through Karazhan, but if I'm missing like a couple pieces of my tier 3 set from Naxxramas,
maybe
I still have an opportunity to go find a new guild there and go through Naxxramas again until I finish that set.
We're going to be spending a lot of time communicating these details. So even as much detail as we're giving now, it's very high level. There's going to be a lot more detail to come, so keep an ear out. But with that said, so Pat, when's all this happening?
Oh.
With Cosmic Guppy said, I wouldn't mind doing
this is something that
in
is
Classic.
important. Again, people are still playing through Naxxramas. We want to make sure that they have enough time to do that. But what we are looking at, this will be happening in 2021. For sure, we are committed to doing that. And what we're looking at is starting the beta rather soon. So hopefully that beta will go up and we'll get that running. The community can come and participate, help us out. We'll start to hear some feedback on the things we've talked about today. If there's any adjustments we need to make, we want to make sure we have a long enough beta period for that to happen. And then we'll get that out to the players so you can all enter the Dark Portal.
Yay!
Yeah, it's exciting.
So any final words?
Yeah, I just talked about the beta, and I will say just to the community, you all have been so instrumental in making Classic the success that it has been, and you will be equally instrumental in making the Burning Crusade a tremendous success also. So please get in that beta, play, give us your feedback. We want to hear all about it. So enjoy, welcome, and let's have some fun.
Yay!
Yeah, and it's been the highlight of my professional career to work on WoW Classic and have the support and love of this community. It is really special to me, and I'm really excited to be sharing this with all of you in the Burning Crusade.
Yeah, and for me, I've been playing Classic since it launched, and I wasn't working at Blizzard then, and it's changed my life, obviously. So from me and the entire WoW team, we want to thank you for bringing Azeroth to life for us. So we will definitely be seeing you in game in whatever flavor you choose. And until then, stay classic.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Dolby is a proud partner of Blizzcon Line. Watch Shock vs. the World in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, only in the Dolby Access app. Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of Blizzcon Line.
No update yet then. Oh look, it's that stuff that I got today. I haven't played Heroes of the Storm for ages. I kind of want to go back on Diablo now I've seen the new one. Rock and roll racing, sick. I don't remember seeing that in the thing that I brought earlier. More Diablo.
Ever since we announced Diablo 4 at last BlizzCon 2019,
Wisp Cosmic
we've been
Guppy.
sharing updates with you guys.
Whoa!
Whether
Diablo
it's,
Pleasure.
items, skills.
Look how good it
zones,
looks.
even user
I like
interface
see that.
updates, and,
I love
you
the way
guys
the
seem to
grass
really
and
enjoy
stuff
that.
looks.
Today, to mark the special occasion of BlizzCon Line on Blizzard's 30th anniversary, rather than doing a blog, we're actually going to share lots of video, introduce a new class like we saw in opening ceremonies, and also cover some open world topics, including mounts, camps, and PvP.
Yeah, this is like the ultimate blog post, right?
Shows
We
the
get to
fucking
actually
game, man.
hand deliver it. This is the dream. It's all finally out there, and we can talk about all of it.
Just in case some of you guys missed it during opening ceremony, let's take another look at the Rogue Announce video.
Right, I just need the bathroom. Back in a minute.
There is justice within the light, but you have to be patient. Now, pray with me. May Akarat guide and protect me.
May Akarat guide and protect me.
May he shepherd my soul
May he shepherd my soul
and grant it mercy.
And granted mercy.
What are you doing here? This is not the time.
But this is confession. And I have sinned. I was a thief who stole from those more fortunate. I strayed from your light and found my trade in the shadows. They call it murder. I say, job well done.
This bit's brutal. Oh, that I feel that bit there.
I am a thief, a heretic, a murderer, Father. Will Akarat save me?
You mock our light. But those monsters were a scourge upon my flock. And you... oh, you were the answer to their prayers.
Then we are settled, and you owe me.
The name you seek is... thank the heavens for you.
Heavens? I assure you, Father, the heavens didn't send me.
I kind of want to go back and look at the other classes, like on the video, but it's not a video, so I can't do that. Can't do that, can we? Yeah, we can.
Oh, you were the answer to their prayers.
Then we are settled, and you owe me.
The name you seek is...
Come on.
thank the heavens for you.
Heavens? I assure you, Father, the heavens didn't send me.
Too quick. It's too quick for me. Shit, what have I done, guys? Assuming that's up to date.
Wow, I love that ending. There's two things. There's the rain of arrows off the mount for the win, and then when that guy takes the ear and he stretches it onto that hook right at the end, it's like, oh.
That ear box never gets old. You know, I always wonder where all those ears from Diablo 2 when you kill other players went.
Now you know there's some creepy guy in a church collecting ears and putting them in a box. Just what we always thought.
No spoilers, but we're going to be hearing a little bit more about World PvP a little bit later in the segment, but ears are definitely making a comeback.
Tell us more about the open world stuff.
There's just nothing more exciting to be able to introduce to a Diablo game than another class for players to check out.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool thing. We don't get to do this very often, right?
I think it was you that said that, John. There's always room around the campfire.
There's always a little room.
We had kind of like very core archetypes to begin with. The brute strength of the barbarian, the arcane knowledge of the sorceress, kind of a return of a shape-shifting classic with the druid. No RPG lineup is complete without that dexterity class that's kind of like defeating enemies with finesse, with speed. And we kept coming back to just the idea of bringing it to the godfather of all dexterity-based archetypes, the rogue that we saw in Diablo 1.
I mean, you got to be excited to have the rogue back. I mean, I know that like when we were exploring different classes, like you had talked about some of your experience with Diablo 1, right?
Oh, for sure. So one of the things that's super cool is like the rogue was always able to adapt their playstyle. So fans of Diablo 1, Diablo 2 rogues will be able to create very archetypical rogues, starting with the weapon selection. On the melee weapon side, rogues can use swords and daggers, as well as bows and crossbows on the ranged side.
You know, just those sort of dagger attacks mixed with bow attacks, it's like, it just looks great on screen. With all the classes having this real strong identity as far as the animations and what they do, you think about the druid and shapeshifting, or the barbarian with sort of, you know, his leap attacks. There's just all these great things that you discover with the rogue that you can't really do with other classes.
I love that you can start cosmetically from such a iconic place where you're wearing the red armor, you kind of look like part of the
everyone's going to be a rogue, isn't they?
From the original games. You know, you can maybe even add some tattoos into the mix, some scars, make that rogue your own. Or if your fantasy of the rogue is a more traditional RPG outlaw, you're definitely able to create that and put on your kind of hood and half mask and be more of a shadowy character.
Yeah, and the character customization, you kind of mentioned it, being able to craft that, you know, that the class of your dreams or your nightmares. It was a feature that I was honestly super nervous about when we started, because we've never had this in a Diablo game. But seeing where it is now, it's one of those things that like I'm super excited about with where we're at. There's just a lot of creativity and fun looks, and you can be
that's an hour gone in the character creation.
Outlaw, or you can be a more noble looking kind of, you know, sort of like thief with good morals.
Well, one of the things that we kind of kept running with beyond just the cosmetics was customization. We had this niche to fill in the class lineup that spoke to the finesse player, to the dexterity player, and just that everyone's idea of what that could be was a little bit different, whether it leaned more on range or melee. But we took that a little bit of a step further. We really wanted to have each class in our game have
one of these
one
guys,
thing that makes you go like, that's bullshit when you see
I think it's
a player
him.
use it. And then
one of them's got an earth feedback on the microphone, and you probably can't hear it because you're not wearing headphones, but there's this continuously on one of their mics, and it's it's starting to annoy me a little bit.
I take the problem and I make it smaller. I mean, it's just
not
like
him, it's the other guy.
Into the shadow realm and duke it out, and then I come back in, I'm like, all right, smaller problem.
I love the idea of exploit weakness. The way it works is during some of the enemy attacks, players will see an icon flash over the enemy's head, during which time they will get to retaliate with much more damage than an ordinary attack. If you're quick on the draw, this is the specialization for you. I'm just like a little bit skill capped there, and you know, like every time I try to make it work,
I'm just a little bit shy of the skill level that's required for that.
It's almost like you're a surgeon, and it requires a really strong ability to assess what's happening all around you.
My personal favorite is the combo point specialization. As you might expect, this ability lets you build multiple combo points, which enhance your spender's effectiveness in combat. It basically, you just like get into this rhythm of combat of like 3 builders to a spender, lets you build up to these big moments. It almost makes like a rhythm game out of combat, which I really enjoy. And the way the class specializations work is you will work with one of the world groups of rogues around the world in Sanctuary that you will find and do class-specific quests that no other class can do. Whether it's the Sisterhood of the Sightless Eye, the remnants of that order that you choose to work with, or the mercenaries of Kyrgyzstan, or the outlaw smugglers of the swamps of Hawazar, depending maybe on what speaks to your class fantasy, or depending on which specialization speaks to you or you find more powerful, you'll be able to complete that quest line and then activate that specialization, which then you can mix and match with any of the playstyles. So you could be a combo points, ranged, or melee player, but you could also be an exploit weakness, range, or melee, or hybrid player. It just gives the class such huge variety in builds and playstyles.
I love how that ties into the open world aspect. The ability to go to Kyrgyzstan or Hawazar and get these special quests that only the rogue can get. That touches on one of the things that I love that we've done, which is like connecting the weapons and equipment to regions. When you're exploring the world and you pick up a sword in Kyrgyzstan, it's a scimitar, right? If you're up in Skazglan, which is up in the north, it's more of like a broadsword. It's this sort of like this, it's a subtle thing, but I think it really, different armors that you get in different regions look like they're from the place. And so giving that sense of place in the world is something that I every time I play the game, I feel it, I see it in just like subtle ways, and just really enhances the overall sense of immersion and experience. And I just want to see what's around the corner.
The weapons are also like, going back all the way to Diablo 2, just such an integral part of the class, and the ability to augment your weapon through magic, through enhancements, it's just something that really spoke to us when we try to tap into the core of the class. Going back to those mercenaries that you could hire, it was always kind of cool to see what kind of special arrow shot they would come with. And it's something we paid homage to with the imbue system. All the way from directly elemental imbues like the frost imbue, which feels a lot like the ice arrows that the D2 mercenaries used to shoot, all the way to we expanded it to feel a little grittier, a little darker, into things like poison imbue and shadow imbue. Just the ability to take any sort of attack and kind of mix and match with those imbues.
Once that kind of clicked for me that I could take any ability and imbue it with either of those elements. Rain of Arrows with frost and Rain of Arrows with acid is completely different, right? Like you're essentially freezing the battlefield, and then I just love poison imbue because of the gruesome deaths that all the monsters experience. And we've had a ton of fun making that art, so it's always fun to kind of see just a field of goatmen melt into nothing. You just kill everything on the screen in a gory mess, which I never really gets old.
It's a really flexible way to take a build that you're already comfortable with, that you already like. Say you're really comfortable with Flurry and Shadow Step as kind of your melee skills, and you find yourself needing more crowd control. Without changing your playstyle, you can just add the Frost Imbue to your bar, and now you're able to use those same abilities to slow down enemies or build up to a full freeze.
Yeah, and Frost Imbue plays pretty well with group play as well, right? Where I can freeze an enemy and somebody else can blow it up.
Or also the way that chills work in the game, they build up to a full freeze. So if your best buddy is a sorceress player, your chill spells and your Frost Imbue chills will actually build up faster than if you were using a single player. So, just ask to open with Blizzard before you Frost Imbue, and you'll basically be freezing enemies twice as fast.
Sorry, Gut.
Super awesome synergy. So the last thing that's worth spending some time talking about the Rogue is like how mobile the class is, just how able the class is to kind of close the gap between themselves and the enemy. Even while they're mounted, you might find yourself, a full screen away and just dismounting into a rain of arrows, closing the rest of that gap with maybe like a dash, and then getting back out of there, dropping some caltrops. They can basically control the fluid motion of combat in a way that no other class can. That's something that beyond all of the other customization options that you have, whether it's the playstyle, whether it's the range at which you engage with enemies, whether it's the cosmetics, just the sheer mobility of the class lets you just adapt to the situations. Even when you would have totally been toast as another class, a room full of elites, you're able to use offensive abilities in creative ways. Abilities like Shadow Step, right? Like abilities like Shadow Realm, abilities like Dash. So you're able to kind of like use them to your advantage in a way that gets you out of a very dangerous situation by picking that one lone skeleton archer that maybe is not surrounded by everything else. You can Shadow Step there, get out of the way, and live to fight another day, which just feels like such a Rogue thing to do.
When I play the Rogue, I really do feel like surgical precision. I really feel like I can move through the whole screen without. It feels kind of effortless and almost sometimes a little unfair. It's like when I go into Shadow Realm and I'm dashing, I'm like, am I cheating? Did I just break the game?
And we'll hear more about PvP in a little bit, but I just couldn't go without mentioning that some of our most feared PvP players on the team play Rogue, and just the way they're able to like surprise you. You might be with a group of friends, and just that mobility lets them go to the middle of the group, unleash a rain of arrows that's frost imbued, and before you know it, you're all frozen. And looking at a Rogue while you're frozen, let me tell you, there are fewer scarier things in our game right now than that.
So Luis, this was this was like the ultimate blog post. This has been a lot of fun getting to share a new addition to the campfire. And of course, there's probably going to be more in the future, right? We always say there's a little bit more room around that campfire.
That's right. And that pretty much wraps it up for the Rogue. So why don't we go to Joe and Karina and learn a little bit more about those open world features that we promised.
Come on. Well, thank you to Luis and John for introducing the Rogue, which I'm really excited that we finally got a chance to talk about and announce to the community. And we're here today to talk to you about Diablo 4 and the open world. Now, I think maybe the best way to start this conversation, Karina, would be just for me to ask you, like, what are you most excited about what we're adding in Diablo 4 for the open world? What feature, what mechanic, what are you most excited to talk about first?
I am really excited about just exploring the world. I am a huge completist naturally. That's the way I play, and I love exploring.
Wow, that looked good.
That
last one.
The more this game has been growing, particularly since last BlizzCon, the more fun I am having just riding around the open world on my mount and exploring everything I possibly can.
Yeah, it's really fun, I think, now that we've kind of taken Sanctuary and just made it so much larger when you're playing through the game. When you compare it to like Diablo 3 or Diablo 2, there's tons of like exploration and movement throughout the world in those games, obviously, but now that we've really been able to embrace the open world concept, we can really dive much deeper into like how does Sanctuary actually all fit together, like be able to ride from Skosglen to the Fractured Peaks, like it's very, very interesting that way. One of the things about that I think is really neat is the collection aspect of mounts. So I mean, there's all these horse breeds and other mounts you can find throughout the world, from completing puzzles or just finding hidden locations or slaying certain particular kinds of monsters. Find various horses or things to customize your horse with, like horse armor. There are hoof plates you can get and trophies to show off your accomplishments. There's lots of different ways to make sure that you can personalize your mount, make it really feel like it's your companion.
Yeah, and it's really cool that like you mentioned with the horseshoes, you get to actually change the speed at which your horse can run. And it's something I like, to be able to customize the horse to the type of gameplay that I like to enjoy as a player. And it's really, really fun. I like the amount of variety that you give us.
And I mean, there's more to mounts than just that as well. So like one thing we know we didn't want to do with mounts in Diablo 4 is we didn't want to have like jousting, this idea of like fighting from horseback. It's not really the Diablo experience, right?
Yeah, that's something I'm super excited for. Like we showed last BlizzCon, we had the sorceress, we showed her dismount skill, Ice Dash, where she shoots forwards off her mount and destroys everything in her path. Well, with the Rogue, we got to have a little bit more fun with it. And the animation department has done a fantastic job of having her leap up into the air and fire down like the rain of arrows that destroys everything. It's cool. Really, really cool. It feels really good.
The idea of like leaping from your saddle and just raining arrows down on your enemies as you pass by, getting down the frame and starting to point like
people. Everyone's going to play Rogue, aren't they?
Spot on what we're looking for. Being able to jump in and engage with enemies from your horse, and then just fight it out, duke it out using your skills and everything else like we want.
It's interesting that your mount can't get damaged, but if a monster actually attacks you while you're mounted, you will actually be forced to dismount. So there is a flip side of actually judging for yourself when you do want to use that skill in order to prevent you from being forced off unintentionally.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of gameplay there to make sure that you're using it in a way that is most appropriate to help you get where you're trying to go and also fight the monsters you want to fight. One of the things I'm most excited about for the open world right now is this feature we have called camps. So camps are basically these strongholds of evil out in the overworld. You got to remember that, decades ago, during the events of Reaper of Souls, when Malthael rose to power, the Reapers killed like 9 out of 10 people throughout Sanctuary. Like a tremendous number of people passed away. Now there's a big power vacuum out here, decades later. And these monsters have started to move into these places. Bandits, monsters, goatmen, all kinds of different creatures, skeletons, the undead, have started to resurface and come back into these areas and start to take them for themselves. You, as the hero of Sanctuary, get to kind of wander through these spaces and begin to reclaim them for the people of Sanctuary. That's part of what makes them really, really neat. Each of them have their own story, they're their own unique fixed place in the world.
Unlike quests are something that happens randomly in the world and you can come across them anyway. Camps are a permanent fixture that you as the player, when you come across that evil, you can actually have a real impact on the open world that everyone else can see, because once you have defeated that evil, one of the really fun things is that you basically unlock that camp and you make a new waypoint that previously didn't exist for yourself, but suddenly all the marketplaces open up and now you have a blacksmith vendor in a location that previously didn't exist, which I think is really, really cool.
Now, what we're looking at here, this was a village, the village of Karayisu, which now has fallen to ruins. The people here in the Dry Steppes had a problem. The problem was there were bloodthirsty cannibals that dwelled nearby and would regularly raid their community. And the people had to come up with a solution. They weren't strong enough to defend themselves from these cannibals, so they made a dark bargain with a demon. And they were able to gather enough power to push these cannibals out and protect their community, but not without great cost, as we can see here. You're kind of helping resettle parts of Sanctuary in many ways when you take these camps back from the enemy. Vendors will come back, and now suddenly there might be new quest givers, new stories that need to be told. Dungeon entrances can appear in some of these places afterwards. There's all kinds of things that occur after you take over the camp and liberate it from these forces of darkness. And again, it's just so cool to see you permanently change the world as you find these places and kind of wander through and solve these problems. One of the other neat things about camps, and in general, the overworld, just broadly speaking, is we have so many more opportunities now to kind of play with movement.
It pushes the bar vertically as well as horizontally, and we now have been playing around with the idea of jumping across chasms to allow the player to get access to a location that they previously didn't have.
There's all kinds of areas for players to find their own path, allowing them extra movement options they haven't had in previous Diablo games.
We are also in a vertical top-down camera for the environment, and so it really breaks up the plane that you typically see as not only as a developer, as an animator, but also as a player. There's such a huge variety of things that you can possibly do to mix it up and make things a little bit different. There's certain puzzle elements to it. That it's not so straightforward and not always obvious. So it's not just a matter of running through the world and getting, to your goal. It's you have to think about it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Karina, I know that you're very excited about PvP.
I'm a huge fan of PvP. I love the first time that we all actually had a chance to, as a whole team, play PvP, because the amount of feedback that generated, I think it took design 3 days to go through it all. And what that showed me is that I find everyone they either love it or they hate it. And I personally love it. I really enjoy it. So the way that PvP works is that the hatred of Mephisto has been bubbling up from hell and has created these areas in the open world that you can freely walk into that kind of consumes you and makes you turn against your fellow players.
PvP, even in these areas, these fields of hatred, right? Even in these spaces, it's not mandatory. So these are optional places players can choose to go to kind of collect shards of hatred that they can collect from killing monsters, from completing events, opening chests, all kinds of ways to earn these things, not necessarily just killing players. And as you earn these shards of hatred, they're kind of in an unpurified state. They're in a basic state. You need to bring them to a purification event in order to turn them into a currency that you can then use in the nearby small encampments around the fields of hatred. And what's really neat about that is that when you're trying to purify these things, that's when everybody nearby finds out and hears like, oh, okay, well, someone's actually trying to complete a purification ritual. We need to go and
that's
kill those
stress.
players
That's
and take all of
stressful.
their shards before they finish.
That's like the Division.
Once you purify them, they're yours. You can't lose them. But before they're purified, they're free game.
Yeah, I think it's really important to note that, like, even if you don't want to engage with
dark
other
zone
PvP
in
players,
the
you
Division,
can
that
actually
is,
explore
stressed
those
me out like
areas
that
and
does.
collect the shards of hatreds from specifically monsters. But the second you need to then turn them in and purify them into a currency where you can spend them on gear, trophies, and other content, you actually are hostile yourself and actually can be attacked during that single moment. But I think that really creates a lot of opportunity for you to team up with friends for just that one little moment in order to gain the reward that you spent so much time collecting.
So you called out earlier that the Shards of Hatred are used for like some of the vendors you could find in the Fields of Hatred. There are some special vendors that only kind of arrive in these areas. They'll have special costumes or new mounts and
Cosmic
weapons
Guppy
and things along those lines.
said,
Nothing that's like
Might got to
powerful
go
stuff you can
bed
get in other
work
parts
in
of the
the
game,
as
but
usual.
stuff that really like speaks to your
Thanks
desires
for
as a
watching it with us,
player.
Scarp. Anyway,
And I think one of the
I'm going to
things
bed
that's really
myself in a
kind of neat
minute.
about the system in general is that as a
tired.
player, if you choose to go hostile, betray your other
Yeah, I'll speak to you
betray the
later,
players
right?
who are
Cosmic
near you,
Guppy
try to get as many shards of hatred as you can. You're going to
Thanks
slowly
for doing
begin to
this.
kind of
That's
like
right, man.
infuse
Wisp
yourself
Cosmic
with that
Guppy
same curse of Mephisto.
said,
And you're going to
Sire in a
become
bit
a
boss.
vessel of
See you
hatred.
later, man. Have
Now,
a good
once
night's
you
sleep.
do that,
Speak soon.
everyone within a very large radius of you is going to be able to see you as a threat on the map. And they're going to get a bonus
Keep going
for
a little
killing
bit
you.
longer.
So when that occurs, you have a set amount of time you need
Still
to
go
survive.
hoping that they're
If
going
you're
to
able
do.
to do that without running away or jumping in a town portal and trying to escape,
have a look what
if
they're
you're able
gonna
to do that and finish that period and manage to escape or defeat your people who are coming to try to destroy you, you're going to get a really big bonus at the end. And that's been really, really exciting to watch in our playtests already. As people are like kind of wrestling for the status and then trying to defend it once they actually achieve it.
Yeah, and there's also the ears that you get to collect as a trophy. It harkens back to D2, where I think you could sell the ears for 1 gold. I don't know if we're going to be doing that. I know we were playing around with them as a currency at one point, but I think right now it's just a cool trophy that you get to collect and show off.
Yeah, right now, very, very cool trophy. The thing was really neat about the Diablo 2 ears, like you could fill up your whole inventory with them, obviously, but being able to see like the people that you took the ears from, like seeing their character names on there, was always like the interesting, fun part. Kind of like proof, like yeah, I got that person that time, right? So we want to make sure that we embrace that aspect of it. That's the important part for us. I think that's going to be a really, really great callback to Diablo 2 PvP.
Right, yeah. So I love where PvP is going, and I love that it is such it's only one part of how large and open the world is, and really harkens back to the adventure in me when I play the game. How do you feel?
I'm super excited as well. I mean, there's so much to look forward
Just
to.
gonna have a look
Diablo
around
4
a minute.
now. Like what we talked about today just scratches the surface. In general, as a Diablo fan, there's a lot to be looking forward to on the franchise in the future. Thank you so much for watching today. We look forward to speaking to you more about this game and others in the future.
Let's have a little look around a bit. So we got Warcraft, Diablo. What's going on over here on the
In a
Overwatch?
time when we all really need to share. I was quite scared of giving out information that was like, oh God, what is this going to do then? But realizing it's okay to share a little bit of yourself, like we're doing right now, right? Now more than ever, we're going through it. And we're going to get through it. But there will be days like there are when it's a bit heavy. And then there are days when, I pull my dogs in and I give them a cuddle and I crack open the karaoke mic and I put on YouTube. And all of a sudden I'm like, babe, I'm going to sing badly, okay? And he's like, all right. And I hear his door
It's
close.
like D&D guy, isn't it?
I think we need to do that.
I think we need to do that. Yeah.
I hear his door close over here as well. And then I just bust out some tunes and, music, it really heals. Video games, I am not a gamer, and I think I've said this a lot in social media, but my husband plays a lot of different games, and at Overwatch, I've watched him play, and just storytelling in whatever format. Films, I'm a big film buff. I absolutely love that long, medium format. Animation, my husband's an animator, creative director. So any kind of
So we've got more stuff starting
connected
tomorrow at
to
8
being human
PM.
and humanity. That's getting me through right now.
I think you're right. That word connection, I think, is more important than ever. Like I was saying earlier to these guys, and I said it on the WoW panel, I'll never take a hug and any kind of connection, any
So there's a World of Warcraft Q&A
anything is so
tomorrow.
important now. I think it's been hard days, but it slowed us down to remind us what's important.
Diablo
so Matt,
Q&A.
how are you doing? I mean, I know you don't really have much to do. You're probably
League
sitting around all the
Shock
time
versus the
doing
world.
nothing.
I think that's
in your
it.
world that's
Be
exciting.
some
No, I'm hanging in.
esports thing, I should imagine.
I feel very lucky that I can still be so busy.
And then there's a
in this
strategy
time, but to me, it
section.
also means it's an opportunity to try and get
So I
other
don't
people
know what that
busy
is.
as well. You know, it's to a sense connection. A huge part of connection is community, and we all have to rely on each other, especially in times of crisis like this. So it's, you know, helping out with mutual aid funds, GoFundMe's that you see in social media. With me and my friends that have our company Critical Role, we finally launched our Critical Role Foundation charity, and are just trying to do what we can to get other people
8
hired
p.m.
and find work
Evening,
and
that
business
is.
for other people. And so it's just, it really brings a lot of things into perspective about when you have the
Right.
opportunity, when you have the platform to use it to lift others up with you, because who knows when you'll need their help to pick you up as well. And that's kind of been a really big, even further clarifying theme in these moments. So that's been
no
that's been
idea what
very
these guys are
fulfilling
talking
as much
about.
as it's
of how it's going to deform. After that, you add controls for the animators so they'll be able to move those bones without having to worry about what's underneath the hood. They can just go for the visual look where they have the controls and animate just like a puppet.
I think it's kind of finished, really. This
Very
is stuff
few
that's
StarCraft
not
2 3v3s. It's not a mode that you really think of a lot.
that
in
interesting. Oh,
StarCraft 2.
StarCraft, though.
But are we going
What
to
are you
see just
talking
a-
about? When people ask me about StarCraft 2, the first thing I do is I start talking about 3v3, and then they go, no, I'm talking about GSL, and I go,
I'm
oh,
terrible
That-
Oh,
at this
GSL,
game.
I
I
watched that
don't
too.
get
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I don't get how people beat me
Mostly I'm
every
thinking
single
about
time.
3v3.
Yeah,
especially on infinite mineral maps.
yeah. Well,
But
looking at
I
this
enjoy
one, our
playing the
StarCraft
game.
pros are on the right side of the map, all
But
in the blue. The
I don't
bottom
understand.
left, as well
I'm
as
doing
the
stuff
top
as
left
quickly as
are going to
possible, and
contain
people are
our
still beating
StarCraft
me.
2 pros. And this should be interesting to see exactly how far up the tech tree everyone wants to go. We already see factories for both the Terran players, those cybernetics cores, just about to finish for our Protosses, and of course, good old Zergling speed coming for at least Nest-T, whereas the Roach Warren coming up forever.
Yeah, I like the Roach Warren play a little bit more here. I get the idea of Ling speed, and that means we're probably going to have Banelings. I don't know what your take is on Banelings in a 3v3, but it does seem like if Banelings miss any of their targets at all, you are going to get overwhelmed and counterplay pretty quickly.
Maybe you can bust through wall-ins and things, kill static defense structures,
Well,
something like that.
You definitely have to try to end a game quickly if you're going to go with Banelings. Because, you know, the thing about Banelings is, even though they're like the best unit in the game in a 1v1, if they don't connect to their targets and there's other players that are just massing up units that can gain value over time via their damage, and the fact they can also soak some damage, and then
buildings and architecture pieces that just, especially for artists, stands out a lot, and they usually use this kind of Art Deco style from the 19th.
Right, I think that's it. That's all the best stuff. We've had all the best stuff. There'll be some esports stuff which I would be interested in watching over the weekend. I don't think I'll be streaming it tomorrow night. I'm supposed to be playing PUBG with Nick and Grumpy Grinch, so hopefully that's still going on, because that'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Yeah, thanks for watching. If anyone is still there watching, it was pretty cool. Didn't get as didn't realise Colin was working this evening, but that doesn't matter. It was still a lot of fun. Me and Gup enjoyed it, and anyone else watching. Anyway, I shall speak to you later. Bye bye.